Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and today we're going to be talking about a fun one. We're going to be talking about a very strong support character, Asta. She's of the Harmony class, so naturally she buffs a lot of characters, and she's for free. Like, you probably got her in your first pool, and if you haven't built her, or maybe you're thinking of building her, hopefully this video convinces you that she's a very strong support as well. This is going to be a relatively free-to-play Asta, as I am doing in this video and my account as well. I'm trying to clear the content free-to-play, so that's the perspective of where I'm coming from. More of like a free-to-play, anyone can follow kind of build. The first thing that you guys might notice is I'm actually running a 3-star Lightcone chorus over here. This is a really strong Lightcone, especially since it unconditionally, as long as you just enter the battle, you give your whole team an attack buff of 12%. Very, very significant already. It's just a straight up attack buff. You don't even have to cast ultimate skill or basic attack and stuff like that. Very, very solid, and it's a 3-star Lightcone, which means that when the moment you start the game, you probably can already start investing in this and pushing it up. Of course, I'm not saying that this is like by far the most number one. There's also another one, a 4-star Lightcone that I think comes pretty close, and that is this Dance 4-star Lightcone. You get it later on as well as you progress the game, maybe through gacha as well. And of course, this is really strong because when the wearer uses their ultimate, all allies' actions are advanced forward by 16%. And the reason why I'm choosing to go chorus instead of dance is in the early game, right? Most of us won't have that amount of uptime to use our ultimate ability over here, because this one gets better with higher uptime on the ultimate, which means you need to have faster speed. You also need to have more energy restoration, and that comes from like your main stats and your relic gear as well, which a lot of us don't have, especially in the first maybe 30 to 40 Trailblaze levels as well. And that is why I recommend chorus a little bit more, because it's unconditional in the aspect. But I think that if you have the resources and you have the gear to get her uptime up, this is also a really solid option, and it plays very well into her playstyle in terms of like pushing the entire team forward. There are two other Harmony Lightcones at 3 stars. They are decent as well. If for some reason you don't have chorus, or maybe you already have another character holding it in your team. Perhaps you're running like a double Harmony Bronya and Asta, or Tingyun and Asta kind of team composition, then you could consider 2 other Harmony Lightcones. And I don't really like this mediation because it's only one turn of a flat speed buff, but this could be good if you want the first turn to quickly wipe out the enemies. If the enemies are like significantly faster than your team as well, could be used to like help speed tune your team composition. Another one which I think is a little bit better is this Mashing Cogs. When the wearer uses attacks or gets hit, regenerate some energy. It does make up for a lot of these lack of energy restoration gear early on as well. However, I really do think this one is like better for Bronya or for example Tingyun, who really could use this energy a little bit more. Asta generally moves pretty fast and gets her energy quite independently back quite quickly as well, in my opinion at least. So that's for the Lightcones. And now let's talk real quick in terms of like Traces and what I'm focusing on. Now, long story short, Asta is mainly in the early game going to be played as like a support, because a lot of your resources are going to be like dedicated to your other damage dealers. For example, if you have like Dan Heng, you have Zila, you have Ting Che, or maybe you're playing like physical MC before you swap over. And in that sense, I would really focus on the talent and as well as the ultimate first. These is the ones that give the supportive ability. The ultimate gives additional speed for the team, and it scales pretty well with additional levels. Scale is also pretty good because it's a percentage gain that is multiplied by the number of stacks. This is really strong because like at minimum, I think her minimum is like 2 stacks, which is already at level 3 here, like 16% attack buff, a lot, like a whole entire chorus Lightcone on its own already. And this could go even at level 3 only all the way up to like 40 stacks, 40%. That's pretty massive if you ask me. Together with chorus, that's already like a 50% attack buff. Very, very strong. And other than that, in terms of like her basic attack and her skill, I would say it's like the second priority. Basic attack probably is the lowest priority, and ultimate is still, her skill is used quite often because you want to get the stacks up for this talent. But if you don't really bother about fire damage that she does, or maybe you're really strapped on resources in terms of credits and stuff like that, you could skip this one, leave it at level 1, or maybe level it as much as you can and instead focus on more supportive Traces. She doesn't really like to basic attack very often also, and the reason for that is because she wants to actually use her skill to gain stacks for this talent. Her other team members will actually be the ones helping contribute to skill point contribution. That's like some general things to note. And in terms of like what to level up as you level in terms of the major Traces, I think that these two are pretty good in terms of having a chance to burn enemies when she basic attacks. as well as increasing a bit of her defense for every charging stacks that she has. Just gives her a little bit more survivability as a support character as well. The one that is like optional and like situational would be this fire damage bonus. If you are playing, for example, like a lot of fire characters in your team, then this is definitely good. But if, for example, maybe you're just running Asta with like a rainbow team composition, for example, then I don't think this is like super urgent. And other than that, as you realize slowly, as you get further deeper into the game, you will actually see that a lot of her traces, like the immediate traces out on the peripherals, are fire damage bonus. What this means is that she actually scales very well later on as she levels up to become more of like a fire damage contributor, and that is when you should transition a lot more resource into her in terms of like investing in damage, because she starts to become more significant as she levels up in terms of her significance in damage later on. So early game, pure buffer, pure support, fire break, later on becomes quite significant damaging unit, as well as still a very solid support buffer as well. So those are like some thoughts in terms of Asta. And if you're finding value in this video so far, do give it a like and subscribe for more of such future content. It will really help the channel grow and encourage me to make more content for you guys as well. But anyway, now let's get on back into the relics. And as you can see here, I'm actually running a 2-piece combo. Actually, this is not the optimal combo to use. I'm just using this for now because my main stats are correct in terms of this gear. And what I'm actually doing is I will actually ideally like to move to 4-piece Musketeer of the Wild Wheat. And the reason why I want to transition over to a 4-piece Musketeer of Wild Wheat is because of this 4-piece 6 speed over here. It's a very generic set that you can just pick up anywhere as you're opening chests and exploring, which I'm sure a few or most of you might be doing. And if you get a lot of these, you can just like slap it on together. You don't even have to go and pre-farm or like properly farm it from the domain and stuff like that. And it becomes a pretty solid piece as well. 4 of the piece would be really strong. Now, in terms of this gear, what am I using for the main stat? I'm using HP here mainly because I don't really have other gear available. As you see here, I just already foddered a lot of them. I'm just giving her whatever I found or have left over. HP is okay, gives her a bit more survivability. As you know, early on, she's mainly used for her supportive ability. That's also why I only have this at like level 0. I didn't even like invest in this, because once I have, for example, maybe an attack main stat, I will likely be switching to that to give her more attack as the game goes on. But I don't think it's very urgent in terms of main stat to level up in terms of the cloak or the body armor. And what I'm actually doing is I'm focusing more on like the flat stats, which gives a much more value early on in the game, especially when your levels are low, your light cones are low, so percentage stats don't really matter as much. Instead, flat stats make up a significant proportion of like the overall stats that she has. So you saw like 160, and as you see here, that already makes up like 25% or to roughly 20% of her overall stats just from this like level 9 glove on its own. I'm investing a lot into the flat stats. You can see here 9, 9, and then it's very obvious that I'm ignoring the percentage based gear in terms of the slot number 3. And if I have any attack gear, likely it will go towards my DPS as well. As you can see here, Dan Heng is using the cloak as well in terms of the same set. And last but not least, I think the subsets don't matter, and the boots in terms of what I'm using, I'm running a speed gear. As you can see, I'm using an off piece, and this is the reason why I'm not running a 4-piece Musketeer. And the reason is because I have this speed at like 16, which is the purple gear. I don't have anything else that is like speed for in terms of this set other than this green one, which is only like 7 speed. So this is significantly faster for her, and I really want her to have a lot more speed so that she can keep her uptime going based on like her number of actions, getting her own energy restoration up as well. I think that's like super strong, and this is the reason why I will gear her for speed. Is speed my ideal choice? Yes, I would say. The faster Asta moves, you really can feel it very significantly, especially together with her ultimate. You just add on that huge chunk of speed. Very solid character. I wouldn't change speed out. And that's for the left side 4. In terms of the planetary 2 or these other 2 relics, this is the set that I'm using right now. As you can see, I'm just using like a random quantum damage bonus because I don't have anything else like HP, which my other characters are using. So I'm just giving her like whatever I have. It could be a lot better, but it takes some time to farm this because it's quite long going into the simulated universe and farming. I'll do it over time, and ideally this one I will want to go for example, fire damage bonus if I could. But as you can see, like I don't have any fire damage bonus right here. If I can't find fire damage bonus, I probably will either go HP percentage or attack percentage, but it's not really very urgent as she's mostly used, as you can see from the build so far, more of a supportive build. And I'll talk about the set in a little bit, but let me just show you about the main stats. And for the main stat for this wire link rope thing, I'm using energy restoration. I think it's really solid. It's probably like the best choice for her, because if you have more uptime on her ultimate, it allows you to switch, like we mentioned previously, the light cone over to the action advance light cone instead of using chorus, which is like attack buff. And keeping her energy regeneration rate up means that your speed buff is perpetually up for your whole team, and you really can feel it in terms of how fast and how quickly your team moves. And of course, this fleet of ageless, I think, is a really solid set bonus to have. Out of the two of them, like, this is one of them, the Xianzhou Luofu one, and the other one is this Herta Space Station one. This one just gives you more attack, and when your speed reaches a certain level, it gives you a much more attack. But this is super good on all supports, and I might even consider running some of my damage dealers on it, because it gives you sustain, allowing you to survive longer on the field. But at the same time, is once your speed reaches 120, you increase your allies' attack by 8%. And if we look over here, right, just by using that speed boot of 16, straight away Asta's speed is already above 122. So a purple speed gear immediately pushes Asta's speed above 120, and it enables you to proc this set bonus immediately already. So you give your allies 8% straight up just by appearing on the battlefield, together with chorus another 12%, so that's 20%. Combined together with like 5 stacks of the charging of a normal skill here. If you get 5 stacks, that's like 40%. So at level 3, at a level 40 character, you're getting 60% attack bonus from one character alone. That is absolutely nuts. Not even to talk about the amounts of fire break damage she does, as well as speed buffing in her ultimate. Very strong in this combination of gear that we have. Of course, completing this will give her a little bit more speed to push that beyond, and you could even use like a blue gear and also break past that 120 speed. The moment you cast your ultimate and push everyone up, one thing to note is that everyone also will be able to proc this effect with her ultimate, and that's what makes this set so good with Asta. Because if you put them on every single character, and yes, it actually stacks. I tested it out, like I individually put it, remove it, go to a battle, and then I speed up my whole team to push them past the 120 and compare it individually. This bonus actually does stack for all 3 of them. So in the ideal world, and if you have all 4 of them using this set, you could actually get a passive 32% attack buff on your whole entire team as long as Asta's ultimate is ready. That's pretty insane if you ask me, like, because it stacks so much attack buff for the whole team just from this fleet of the ageless. I'll leave the testing video towards the end right here, and thank you so much for watching. If you do enjoy this video, do like and subscribe for more of such future content as well. We have done like other build guides on the channel already, and I'll be making more for like my free to play team com in terms of build guides first, and I'll slowly expand to the rest of the gacha 4 stars and eventually the 5 stars as well. And thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this ending clip, and see you in the next video.